And welcome to the Rotisserie Chicken Podcast.
I'm Anna Leckie.
And I'm Jacob Worthington.
And today we have a crazy episode for you about the most bizarre reality TV shows. Things that range from dating to plastic surgery to following somebody's life like a Truman Show. So it's going to be a really interesting episode.
I'm excited. There's a couple I'm aware of, so I'd be interested to find out if you pull them up.
Yeah, I mean, if they're the craziest, there's a likelihood that they're on here. But back in the early 2000s when I was a young lattice, I loved reality TV shows. And I watched all the 8 p.m. Primetime reality. You know what I'm talking about? Did you watch a lot when you were growing up?
There were a few that caught my eye. I was a Flavor of Love kind of guy. I enjoyed Flavor of Love. I really liked Celebrity Rehab. Yeah, Celebrity
Rehab is an insane show because I don't think any of those people stayed sober.
Maybe one or two.
It was
I don't know if they were sober
rehab.
on the show. Yeah, I don't think they were sober on the show.
Yeah, because what's really, I mean, people getting sober versus people in an active relapse, what's the most chaotic and entertaining?
I think they mainly were just trying to jumpstart their career, and their agent was like, listen, I've got something on my desk for you, but I don't know if it's something you're willing to do.
Yeah.
And they're just like, as long as it's not quitting drugs, I'll do anything.
How much does it pay me? What do I get? Yeah, it's a wild time. So I'm just going to jump right in.
Jump right in.
Okay, this one's called Susunu, which means a life of prizes. In 1998, a Japanese reality television show called Susunu launched one of the most famous and controversial reality segments in broadcasting history. So Life in Prizes was an experiment that featured a young comedian named Tomoke Hamatsu, which I don't know if I said that right.
I think you got that.
Which he's better known for his stage name Nasubi, which is Japanese for eggplant.
And
it's pretty rad.
Much easier to say.
Yeah. Which references his long face and eggplant-shaped sensor used to obscure his nudity. So that's where he got the name.
Wait, what?
Nasubi. Apparently he used an eggplant-shaped sensor to obscure his junk whenever he was nude. So, hey.
Do you think he started the trend? Because this is pre-emojis.
Yeah, he totally could have.
Wow.
I mean, just
shout out Nasubi.
Item recall could have shuffled that. So he was selected from a comedy audition under the premise that he would participate in a unique challenge. Wasn't really told what it was going to be. Without fully understanding what he was going to have to do, he was abruptly locked in a small, unfurnished apartment, stripped of all of his belongings, including his clothes, eggplant emoji.
Yep.
And given only a stack of magazines with sweepstakes and mail-in contests. And what his task was for this was to survive entirely off the prizes he could win through mail-in entries. He had to continue this until he earned approximately $1 million, or it says 1 million yen, which was $8,000 in prize.
Well, their money's not real.
At first I was like, $1 million.
They don't have real money anywhere else.
Off mail-in sweepstakes. So unbeknownst to Nasubi, the entire ordeal was going to be broadcast weekly to millions of people in Japan and then streamed 24/7 through hidden cameras, which I think it's kind of crazy that he didn't know this.
That's what I'm saying. That's kind of crazy. They just
I feel like that should be illegal.
What did he think was happening?
I mean, it's totally a Truman Show thing, but...
Yeah, but why did he think people put him in a box like that? If not the film... What's going on?
Maybe he just thought it was a financial challenge or something. But being live streamed 24/7 without knowing, imagine the embarrassment. Imagine the things you do when you think you're alone that you would die if anybody saw you do.
So this is one of the ones I knew about, and I was hoping you covered. I have watched a good bit of the show. I've seen the reveal. It's a crazy show.
Well, so one of the things that the audience, or a few of the things that the audience watched him endure, was extreme isolation, starvation, boredom, mental strain over the total of 15 months, which is a really long time to be doing this.
It's a really long time.
And despite the disturbing nature of this setup, the show became a massive hit in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Viewers witnessed him celebrating small victories like winning a bag of rice or a stuffed animal or receiving clothes. He started breaking down and talking to himself, and because he was being sensory deprivated.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. I mean, it's chaos.
This is like kind of torture. It's torture to be isolated like this.
I wouldn't say it's torture, but it's hard.
It is
because torture. He could have quit whenever he wanted to. I think torture implies your inability to prevent what's happening.
Yeah, I guess if he could quit whenever he wanted to, sure.
It's definitely a trial and tribulation. It would have been torture if they hadn't let him leave. So I don't think that makes much of a difference.
Yeah, I mean, but being isolated like this for in the manner in which he was isolated, it's really dangerous. So over the course of the show, he became thinner, more socially anxious, more emotionally estranged. And the segment ended abruptly after he unknowingly reached the prize goal. And the producer surprised him with a series of disorienting transitions, like moving him to Korea, then back to Japan, still under surveillance. And then they finally revealed the scope of the show and ended his confinement, which is crazy.
They opened the box in front of a live studio audience.
Mm-hmm.
He had no idea that he was a show. Mm-hmm. And then just like the walls come down and he's like, however you say, oh my God in Japanese.
Traumatized.
Yeah, I mean, that's imagine if our walls just fell down and there was just like a studio audience around us. And they're like, yay, you did it. You made your 39th podcast episode. You're free.
I'd be like, I have some explaining to do. But this show sparked intense ethical debate, obviously, because they were exploiting what some people thought was a vulnerable person. He wasn't given adequate psychological care. They were using human suffering as entertainment, and the producers defended the show as a form of extreme reality TV and said that Nasubi had volunteered. But now people consider it a dark milestone in television. And I wonder, do you know what's become of him?
I don't know. 80,000 yen doesn't really go a long way. Or $1 million and $8,000 doesn't go a long way. I don't know. I think he did have, like, they had psychological stuff available for him. You know, it's one thing that I've heard.
What?
You know the show Hell's Kitchen? Mm-hmm. That they have, like, a psych team waiting for people when they
because Gordon Ramsay is so abusive.
So when you get
I guess that's good.
When you get kicked out, you go basically into like a 2-week, 3-week health spa with like therapists and psychiatrists, and they just help kind of put you back together after the show crushes you emotionally.
So they realize how crazy Gordon Ramsay is and how it's not cool to just annihilate people like that.
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes we all need a little tough love.
Sometimes we all need a little tough love.
All right, so our next one's called Bridalplasty. Bridalplasty was a short-lived but deeply controversial reality television show that aired in 2010 on E! It was hosted by the Biggest Loser personality Shanna Moker, and the show featured 12 engaged women competing in weekly challenges, such as writing vows, crafting wedding plans, and navigating relationship-themed puzzles and quizzes. The prize each week was a plastic surgery procedure of their choice, drawn from a pre-selected wish list created by each of the contestants on the show's outset.
But they're getting married to somebody they know already.
They're already engaged.
Okay.
They're trying to get plastic surgery for their wedding.
Okay.
So they're competing for plastic surgery for their wedding. And the ultimate winner, after surviving a series of eliminations, would not only receive every procedure on her list, but also have a new face unveiled for the first time at her wedding to the groom and a national television audience.
Oh my God. Did you watch any unveilings?
No, I haven't. But could you imagine if on our wedding day, I just show up and I'm like completely different?
You had like Hollywood face?
Yeah, like Kim Kardashian.
Or you like what I like to call a Mount Pleasant face?
Mm-hmm. Mount Pleasant in Charleston.
When we lived in Charleston, if you went to Mount Pleasant, which was like the rich area, you would see these women who had spent thousands of dollars to basically look exactly like each other.
Yeah.
And they all had the same exact face.
Yeah.
Blonde hair. They all put the same
teeny little nose.
Yeah,
teeny little nose, like, big lips.
And you would see 22-year-olds who had already done it, and then like 60-year-old women who had done it, and it was just like the Mount Pleasant face.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I'd be shocked if I pulled the veil away and you had Mount Pleasant face.
Yeah. So of course it's controversial, just like the amount of almost like self-mutilation you go through. And, you know, the viewers definitely saw the women go through all the recoveries and the bandages and the swollen faces. But the bodily, like, mutilation and then emotional vulnerability really just kind of put this series on this list.
I feel like reality shows are definitely a like litmus test for what your culture is like. Mm-hmm. Because it's like the most extremified version of what your culture values.
Yeah.
You know, and so if you look, you can tell a lot by a country by what they're willing to put on TV. Also,
the early 2000s and 2010 was a wild time for feminism in the media, and as we're going to get into on the next one, the kind of idea of physical perfection being the ultimate female goal was huge at this time. It was like, you can't get married unless you look perfect. You know, you can't do what you want to do in life unless you look like a physically perfect woman. And this was broadcast so clearly to all of us in the early 2000s. And
I think you're evidence of that.
Am I?
Yeah, because you got married and you're beautifully perfect.
Oh, thank you.
So
1 million yen of plastic surgery.
$8,000.
$8,000. So the next show is called The Swan, which a lot of people are familiar with. The Swan. I actually watched the hell out of The Swan.
We've watched episodes together.
I loved The Swan, and I understand how messed up it is. I loved it. It was the ultimate makeover show, but it was controversial. So it aired in 2004 on Fox. It selected women who perceived themselves as ugly or traditionally unattractive and subjected them to dramatic makeovers. So these women would get extensive plastic surgeries, dental procedures, psychotherapy, strict diets, and workout plans. They were denied looking at the mirror the whole time. I think it was like 3 months maybe. They were denied looking in the mirror. No reflective surface. They did not know what they looked like. And then at the end, they would have this really dramatic reveal where they would walk to this mirror and then see themselves for the first time after these months with all this plastic surgery and weight loss and like as their new pretty woman, you know, transformed into a swan.
I will say this. I'll say several things about the Swan. One, some of these women had some gnarly things. You know what I mean? There were like... some women, like, their teeth were, like, way jacked up. And I feel like just getting their teeth fixed, man, you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, like, sometimes I feel like people judge these women for wanting to get, like, radical makeovers and stuff like that. But at the same time, some women had, like, things that were, like, noticeably that there's, like, that's very understandable that you would want to get that fixed. And then some women just looked regular. You know what I mean?
I do, and I do want to preface that it's totally a personal preference that if somebody thinks that a plastic surgery procedure is going to make them feel better about themselves and more confident it's going to fix this major insecurity, then do it. Like, get as much plastic surgery as you want, to each his own. I just don't like that society pushes it on us that, like, you must look this way.
I want to get some plastic surgery.
What do you want to do?
I want to get dog nipples. I just want to get 6. I want to get 4 extra nipples thrown on.
Nice.
And I want them to be able to be milked.
You could get little tattoos.
I guess I could get little dog nipple tattoos.
You could get little tattoos.
But I haven't ever seen an episode where a woman didn't like the way she looked. So I feel like a lot of times in our culture, we like to get upset at other people living their lives according to the way they want to because we feel like it's not right. Like, we get upset for people. And I feel like critics of the show get upset about these women making these choices, but they all seemed pretty happy at the end of the show.
Yeah, I mean, there has been stories of afterwards.
I don't know about the
them
stories
struggling.
afterwards.
I think there were some that struggled afterwards.
Struggling with all the dates they were getting?
No, I mean, I just the psychological kind of toll.
Yeah.
It's a heavy thing. You change your entire look, and then it's also it is traumatic on the body to get so many procedures. Surgery is traumatic for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this one's called Kid Nation, which premiered in 2007 on CBS. It was a controversial reality television show that placed 40 children ages 8 to 15 in a remote abandoned town of Bonanza, New Mexico. The premise was to see if kids could build a functioning society without direct adult supervision. So
I could tell you the answer.
Have you ever read Lord of the Flies?
Yeah.
That's such a great book, Lord of the Flies, but it's kind of about kids being stuck on a desert island after, I think it was a plane crash, right?
I can't remember.
It's like something, they were stuck there with no adults, and it was what it turned into with just kids forming a society. And it went poorly. So...
What?
While there were adults present behind the scenes for safety, the children were left to manage the day-to-day challenge of running a town. So like cooking, cleaning, organizing a government, establishing rules, and handling internal conflicts. Each week, the children completed in physically, mentally, and demanding tasks, which determined not only the distribution of food and supplies, but also a tiered class structure, dividing them into laborers, merchants, cooks, and upper-class group with more privileges. So top-performing children were rewarded with a gold star worth of $20,000, and then even $50,000 later on. So ethical decisions were kind of turned into financial incentives. And the show obviously drew intense criticism because of its treatment for minors, because some got injuries, burns, dehydration. They were exposed to unsafe conditions, limited access to proper medical care or emotional support. And yeah, I mean, just placing kids in like a high stress, unsupervised environment for entertainment purposes is it's a lot.
A lot of people don't know this, but at the end of Kids Nation, they actually bombed Iran, which is wild.
The kids?
They put together a nuclear program. It's crazy.
And then became the president of the United States. All right, this one's called Who's Your Daddy? The provocative Fox reality show aired in 2005 and was built around an emotionally charged and controversial premise. A 29-year-old woman, adopted at birth, was tasked with identifying her biological father from a group of 8 men, 7 of whom were imposters. If she correctly identified her real father, she would receive $100,000.
This is what I'm talking about. This is dystopian. That's dystopian. I get the Kids Nation. Like, that's a fun show if you, like, did it in, like, a fun way. But, like, here's 8 men. One of them is your father you've wanted to know your entire life.
I feel like I would know immediately.
I mean, I would, because they would have to just get 8 redheaded dudes, because I look exactly and sound exactly like my father. But imagine if you, like, really clicked with one, and you were like, I've grown to love this man. And then it was like, actually, the one you hate, that shitty guy over there, is actually your real father.
So, this took a deeply personal and awful, painful turn when her search for the biological family was a high-stakes guessing game. And she watched as the woman engaged with each man, asking questions, trying to detect genuine emotional connections. Meanwhile, the imposters were encouraged to convincingly lie and exploit her vulnerability in pursuit of the prize.
What prize? Did they
I don't
win?
I don't know if they got money if they deceived. I don't know, but talk about psychological damage.
That's crazy. Emotional damage.
The backlash was swift and severe. Adoption advocates, mental health professionals, and viewers condemned the show for sensationalizing and commodifying adoption reunions. Critics argued Who's Your Daddy reduced a complex emotional journey to a concept that was exploitative, yes, with themes of abandonment, identity, and belonging. Like, they're just trying to get ratings at the expense of, like, this crazy thing.
You know, we can cut this part out, but it does make me think that this would be a very funny sketch idea to just have, like, reality TV show people sitting around a board, like, pitching ideas, and they just get more and more disturbing, because that's what I feel like how these shows come up. It's just people being like, what if we just do, like, a shell game for a woman's parental parent?
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, so Fox quickly shelved the remaining episodes once it's got the backlash. And
did we not get to find out who's her daddy?
I don't think so. I think the backlash was literally so severe that they were like, it's just crazy. Okay, so this one you might have heard of. It's called There's Something About Miriam. This is an interesting one. In 2004, UK reality dating show aired that centered around 6 men vying for the affection of Miriam Rivera, a beautiful and charismatic model. She's gorgeous. The format followed a familiar dating show. The men participated in romantic activities and competitions to win one-on-one time with Miriam, and wanted to be chosen like the final suitor. So it's kind of like The Bachelor. It was built around a dramatic twist, though, because at the end, Miriam was revealed to be transgender, which was not, like, explained up front.
But didn't the guy who won was like, I'm okay with this? Hopefully,
I don't know, but
I've watched a lot of these.
I think you should be upfront about that kind of thing. But
that defeats the whole point of the show. Then you don't have a show. Then it's just a dating
Well, I know.
show.
I'm talking about in real life. Like,
Yeah.
But also, it's like, cool. If you didn't care, you didn't care. Awesome. So the contestants were unaware of her gender identity until the finale. And it was supposed to, like, shock people. The show marketed this reveal as a major plot device and treated her identity as a secret to be exposed rather than understood or respected. And the backlash, of course, very severe. So critics in the LGBTQ community condemned the show for perpetuating harmful stereotypes and exploiting gender identity. So rather than fostering understanding or inclusion, the format really framed Miriam's trans status as like a deceptive tool, and it reinforced some dangerous narratives that transgender people are trying to trick others. So that was like a whole thing. And, you know, because violence against transgender people is really serious, especially like in situations where they're trying to date and don't know when the right time to disclose is, and it could actually be dangerous and risky.
I feel like the right time to disclose is at the beginning.
Yeah, but I mean, it's very intimate and vulnerable. It's hard to like.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough conversation to have to navigate. But I will say, I do think the guy who won was like, "I'm good with this."
Yeah, maybe.
I've watched the episode, so
yeah. That's awesome. Well, the emotional fallout was severe, so contestants expressed anger and humiliation on air, filed lawsuits against the producers. They cited emotional distress and defamation. Miriam Rivera herself later spoke out about how she was being manipulated and misled by the show's creators, saying she wasn't fully aware of how the reveal would be used and the extent of the controversy it would generate. So she was also like being lied to, which is not cool. It remains one of the most controversial reality TV shows on television, and it's been widely criticized for the exploitative framing for contributing and stigmatizing transgender people. So.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, and here's a couple of little small ones just for note, but
small ones, some little toppings, some little sprinkles.
A 2003 Fox show hosted by Monica Lewinsky, where a woman chose a suitor from masked men based solely on personality. The men wore masks to hide their appearance, and the reveal of their face off.
What if you pulled the mask down and it was just Bill Clinton? He's like, ladies.
You can tell without the mask on. This led to really awkward moments and led to superficiality in dating.
They're wearing a mask. I feel like this is this is Love is Blind, right?
Kinda. I mean, I don't know if it's to the extent.
But it's just Love is Blind.
Kinda. I don't know. Boy Meets Boy. A 2003 Bravo show followed a gay man seeking a partner among a group of suitors, some of whom were secretly straight. Producers love this kind of stuff. The twist, revealed late in the series, aimed to test the lead's judgment, but was criticized for exploiting sexual orientation for drama. And also, that's not cool. Don't make somebody fall in love with someone that they can't actually date. It's not cool.
We exploit sexual orientation for drama all the time. I don't know if that's like something you can. It's like any TV show centered around sexual orientation is exploiting sexual orientation for drama. I mean, how many movies have they made where like the main character is struggling with their sexual orientation?
I think it's the context and the intent.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that it's weird, but I feel
there's a difference between exploitation and just storytelling that involves sexual, like, I don't think that Brokeback Mountain exploits homosexuality. I think it tells a story. When you're exploiting it, it's like a devious use of.
I think the transgender one was exploiting it. I think if everybody knew what was up in this other one, like you knew going in some of these dudes were straight, I think as long as you're consenting adults with all the information, then I think that's fine.
Did they know that?
I don't know. I thought you said that.
No, they didn't know. That's what the issue is.
Yeah, then that's fucked up. I retract my.
It was a gay man seeking a partner among a group of suitors, some of whom were secretly straight. So if he fell in love with a straight guy, and at the end he's like, haha, I'm not really even into you at all. Like, that's mean.
Well, you know what? This stuff is playing with fire, because I can't remember what 90s talk show. You know, like Jerry Springer, when Jerry Springer came out, a bunch of shows like that came out. And there was one show, and this is like the episode that killed the show, is they had like people come on who were like in a gay relationship with someone who wouldn't come out. Or something or another. And this guy basically tricked his closeted partner to like come on the show. And then that guy ended up killing that guy.
Yeah.
Like a week later.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it can be dangerous, for sure.
If I was an executive and you were like, we're going to trick these people. I was like, whoa. And no, absolutely not. And you know what's interesting about these? Is these organizations have like fail-safe after fail-safe of people that all this has to go through and get approved. And every single time somebody was like, I don't see anything wrong with this.
Yeah. I mean, producers are just trying to make money, honestly.
Producers gonna produce.
This show is called The Briefcase, which is a 2015 CBS show that gave struggling families a briefcase with $101,000, but forced them to decide to keep it or give it to another family in need.
God damn.
So the emotional manipulation of impoverished participants drew criticism for exploiting financial desperation, which is just like the whole theme of this is exploitation.
But that's a bum fight. You know, like a bum fight where people will like pay two bums to fight each other, and whoever wins gets like $20. That's basically what they did. They just did it with two poor families.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's disturbing.
Yeah.
I think that might be the most disturbing one.
These shows really highlight the links that reality TV has gone to. That is for shock value and engagement at the exploitation of others. And like some of these are fucking crazy. I do like The Swan was interesting, but
I like The Swan too, because I mean I just feel like I've never seen an episode where somebody was upset with what happened. Now I understand they probably went through some difficulty after the fact. But there are like glaring issues with these other ones.
Yeah.
It's not like these women on The Swan were like unaware of what they were getting surgery for. Imagine having a show where they're like, we've got one kidney. You have to decide whether or not you will receive it or another.
I do think there was... So, my first thought is that when you sign up for a reality TV show, like... you are kind of signing some of your rights away, but there was a big ethical concern and a whole lawsuit against the Love is Blind producers that was brought up from the first like few seasons, I think.
What happened?
They weren't, so the people who were on the show only got like a very small amount of money to be there. It was like not a salary. It was just like paid a little bit of money to be there. But what was happening is they basically were not allowed to sleep very much, were like not allowed to eat very much, and were given tons of alcohol. So it was kind of like the producers were trying to get them tired and irritable and like not on their best. They would stay on these dates with people until the middle of the night. Like, so lack of sleep. They didn't have any contact with the outside world because they didn't have access to their cell phone while they were doing this challenge, so they couldn't look people up. But, you know, and they would do these social things, and they were just, like, given so much booze. Because the producers were trying to make them drunk and stupid and doing crazy things, and, like, in order to get the drama. But...
Shout out to my boy Izzy.
But, well, I think he did that voluntarily.
I tried to tell you, honey.
But... that they sued Love is Blind because they just felt like that was unfair and wasn't like ethical. And but I mean, you know, that's part of a lot of reality shows. Definitely be doing that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's the nature of these reality shows. They're not reality. They're highly manipulated circumstances.
Yeah.
If you had to be on a reality TV show, what would you be on?
No, I'm really like not. I don't know. There's not like anyone that really like. I think something like The Mole, where you have to deceive people.
Well, that's a game show though. That's like more of a game show than a reality show.
It's still a reality show.
Yeah.
You have to win a prize at the end.
But I think it's more towards a game show. I think.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'd be. I don't want to do a reality show.
I really wanted to be on like Real World or Road Rules when I was a kid.
Like Theo Vaughn.
Theo Vaughn he's a graduate he's probably the most famous graduate.
Yeah, for sure.
Of Road Rules.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got.
I think I might have had something else. There was like another... When you told me the idea for this episode, I just kept thinking of the I think you should leave bit where he's getting kicked off the reality show and he's like, I can't go home. Something's terrible is waiting for me at home. And she's like, what is it? He's like, I don't know, but it's real bad.
And then he just keeps doing the zip line.
He keeps doing the zip line. I think you're only here on the show not to find love, but because of the zip line.
Well, that's about all I got. So,
all right.
Yeah.
I hope you guys were entertained by the reality of the situation. And the reality is that our cultural and social fabrics in this country are breaking down so much that we are pitting poor families against each other and carving up women's faces.
Yes. Yeah. So, digest that.
That's it. That's the message. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.